You see where I'm reading?
Yes.
So this particular case relates to the so-called cover-up of General Lushaba's, I don't know if it's a crime, misconduct, but concerns with how Major General Lushaba ended up losing his equipment. I then look at the statements that you have provided, A1 statements that you have provided. These start from page 3479. There are 3 statements. And none of them speak to this particular issue raised in docket number 1650 in Cape Town.
On
the statements
3485.
They go 3484. That's how far they go to 3484.
Yes, what I'm saying is that...
Oh, sorry, 3486.
Yes,
3486.
but is council saying that other than that handwritten statement, there isn't another statement referring to the issue of the Lushaba housebreaking?
No, relating to the cover-up by General Kumalo, who instructed Major General Legalakala and Brigadier Munyani or Munyana to ensure that there is no investigation. The statement we are looking at 3485, on my reading, speaks to the housebreaking. And overleaf at 3486, he says, after making this report, I make inquiries, and Mr. Adams says that he could not get a case number, as concerned that my report was being swept under the carpet. I don't see in this January 2025 statement any allegation pertaining to the conduct of General Kumalo, General Lekalakala, and General Munyama. Do you?
I see that.
You confirm that. And then staying at 3472, it concludes with the words, evidence to this effect is available. Did IDEC ever obtain that evidence?
I'm unable to respond to that. I don't know that we did get...
Sorry, I'm
unable to respond to that. I'm unaware of what follow-up they would have made.
Now, do you know who within IDEC became the investigator in this particular complaint?
The one with Lushaba.
Yes.
That is Mr. Padiachi.
Mr. Padiachi?
Yes.
So if anyone should have called for that evidence, it would be Mr. Padiachi?
Correct.
If you go to 3474, that is the investigation diary of, I think, the officer who took the complaint. I'm looking at line 8, where it describes the modus operandi. It appears that suspect, Lieutenant General Kumalo from Secret Services, neglected protocol and instructed Major General Legalakala and Brigadier Munyani to not conduct investigations against General Lushaba. So that is the officer's interpretation of what's contained, the summary of the A1. Okay, then if we move forward then to 3475, we are just following the sequence of the page numbers. What we have here at 3476 now is the statement by Mr. Adams.
Okay, Johnson.
Good morning, Commissioner.
If you look at 937 and the offenses listed there, it is fraud and corruption in the bullet points, you see that?
I see that, Commissioner.
Yes, and then you go to Annexure B. Let's just focus on Major General Lushaba, for example. For the rank of Colonel, Brigadier, and Major General, was there Section 27 referral to IDEC suggesting that their vetting and clearances were tainted with fraud and corruption? Just focusing only on Major General Lushaba. Was there such a 27 referral suggesting that their vetting and clearances were tainted with fraud and corruption?
It was the generalized Section 27, Commissioner Khumalo, of Adams of November, and we just need to check in the additional A1s that were taken, if they were expanded on in those A1s. But there was a generalized Section 27 referral.
Because my recollection of the Section 27 is that he was saying all the colonels in crime intelligence are not suitable. I don't remember seeing anywhere in that Section 27 where he says their security clearances and their vetting were tainted with fraud and corruption.
I would just have to...
If you go to file 2, page 512, CJC 373, that is the Section 27 affidavit by Mr. Adams.
Sorry, Counsel, the page reference?
512.
It starts on 512. If you look at paragraph 4 on 513, that is the general statement that is made. And it starts with the manipulation of procurement processes. And it lists the civilian who worked for BMW. And then the paragraph after that says it is concerning that out of all the colonels employed in crime intelligence, none of them were suitable to be appointed to this post. But I don't recall seeing in the referral anywhere where it says Major General Lushaba's vetting and clearance is tainted with fraud and corruption.
Sorry, Chief, you just grant me a moment. Yes, correct, Commissioner Khumalo, he just refers to processes to appoint and promote certain members.
So it is the Mukwele issue where the vetting is a problem. And then reference to Lushaba is in paragraph 6 on 514. is the issue of the housebreaking and the laptop.
That is correct.
But there is no referral relating to their vetting or their security clearance being tainted with fraud and corruption. So if that is so, would there be a legal basis for then investigating their vetting and security clearances at all 4 levels, or at 3, at the level of a colonel, brigadier, and major general?
Chair, it would depend on what else they did have access to at the time, because they would have had to have access to the additional A1 statements that were taken, and not just this. So I would be remiss if I say no. Because this is done, Chair, in February of 2025. By that stage, they would have had the engagements with Adams, and in terms of those additional statements, I'm not sure that additional documents were provided, but they would have had a twofold basis upon which.
But as I understand it, the substance of what Commissioner Khumalo is raising with you is this: if this was never referred in terms of the affidavit, how do we suddenly have it here? The fact that the investigators may have come across some information at a later stage cannot cure the lack of a referral in the first instance. I thought that's the substance of the question.
Correct. Yes. And so we would just have to look at the additional A1, and because the additional A1 is supposed to talk to the Section 27, if it is not there, then it doesn't talk to.
So even if the information is subsequently obtained and is contained somewhere, it means nothing if there was no referral in the first place, or not?
Unless there was other evidence before the issue of the summons.
Yeah, okay, all right, okay.
Thank you, Commissioners. So, when we do look at file 9, which is where the additional statements are by Mr. Adams, what do you suggest what conclusions do you suggest the Commission must draw if this Section 28 is not supported in its terms?
Vetting for all those 3 positions.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Ms.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloy. And perhaps just to clarify, when Colonel Padiache appeared before the Commission and was engaged on this document, he testified that his investigation was confined to the recommendation and appointment of Brigadier Mkwele. So that's the person appearing at 1.6. And he explained that this summons was intended to cover all other investigations. So he could not account for how the names of 1.1 to 1.5 and 1.7 found its way into this summons. His interest lies only in 1.6. You suggested that we should turn perhaps to Colonel Padiache, Mr. Perumal, Mr. Mancha, and Mr. Mlambo. On that basis, on the basis of what I have just highlighted, it would sound that Mr. Padiache, Colonel Padiache has given an account of this Section 28, and we cannot turn to him. Would there be a reason for you to question that he is correct, that he can only account for Brigadier Mkwele because that was the leg of the investigation he was involved in?
Chair, because they work as a team, you would find that they compile these subpoenas, and when they compile the subpoenas, they identify as a team what is required. As indicated initially, when the legs are broken up into different legs of investigation, they also would then, in the manner in which they subpoena documents, don't subpoena per individual, especially when you're subpoenaing as an example, from the National Commissioner. They would want to subpoena as many of the similar types of documents. So he would have had to have been part of that conversation and would have had to know that all of these people are also being considered. It's a bit difficult to divorce yourself when you are part of a team, because on the basis of what would you say to Mr. Mlambo, whose name is on the... Mr. Mlambo, while you're doing this, just add my one. They would have to agree as a team. Vetting processes, this is what we're looking at. Who are we looking at? What are we requesting? Whom do we request it from? That makes sense in terms of their investigative methodology.
Okay, so then, if I understand you correctly, they bear collective responsibility for that list. It's not enough for Colonel Padiache to say, I was only investigating the appointment of the person listed in item 1.6.
That is correct.
That's okay.
Sorry,
Yes, Commissioner.
before you do your question again, just to make sure that we're not missing each other, or you understand the fullness of what I was trying to do. I used 1.1 General Kumalo as just an example,
Yes.
but